find the earth quite uninhabitable, and it will even be increasingly more unpleasant and unhealthy for us. So back in 1968, the Apollo 8 crew members made an interesting observation on their round-trip mission to the moon in December 1968. They noticed it was easy to spot Los Angeles from hundreds of miles out in space. They located it by observing the large blanket of smog hovering over the Southern California metropolis. New York was about as easy to locate. So in a Los Angeles school playground, a sign appeared that says, "Warning, do not exercise strenuously or breathe too deeply during heavy smog conditions." In Tokyo, Japan, school children sometimes have to wear masks on smoggy days. Traffic police in certain areas of Tokyo must take periodic oxygen breaks to keep from being overwhelmed by noxious exhaust fumes. Thinking of man's pollution of his environment, the atmosphere and waters, including the oceans, frightened scientists frankly warn of the possible death of our planet. They ask, will this be man's last decade? Well, there has been more verbiage about garbage in the last few years than in all of history. But in the meantime, garbage and pollution in general continues to mount. Those who know the Word of God are convinced that the time has come when the one who made the world will call upon its human caretakers to account for the way in which they have used their environment. And if you have been following some of the news this week, you will know about what's happening even in the UK, all those places that are known as landfills where all the garbage goes to, and then they rot and deteriorate, and there's bacteria, and then the fumes go up, and the atmosphere becomes warmer. In fact, apparently this year has been the warmest ever recorded. And then, you know, the rest of the story. Matthew 24:37, Genesis 6:5, but as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually, violence and crime. The program is not complete until we talk about violence and crime. And that is drawing enormous amount of attention nowadays, as we are only too well aware. Genesis 6:11 says, and the earth was filled with violence. Trillions of dollars are spent on armaments and the military by many nations every year. In some cases, it's represented a tenth of the entire national income, enough to feed and clothe everyone on the earth for a whole year or more, and to provide housing for over 1/3 of humankind. Over 90 million people have died in major wars in the last century. More than half of these deaths were a result of the conflict, World War II, without mentioning Korea, Vietnam, Africa, the Gulf, etc., etc. And to completely list all those wars, rebellions, and conflicts in the world for the last 25 years would be nearly impossible. But the waste of human life is not confined to the battlefield, surely. We could add to the horrifying statistics quoted above, staggering statistics of murder and suicide. The outward symbols of hatred and despair within the human soul. Go on the website, Google official national statistics and look at suicide, and you will see what's happening even here in the UK. The figures are awe-inspiring. Did you know that every 2 minutes in the United States, for instance, someone in the United States attempts suicide? The World Health Organization estimates that some 1,000 plus people commit suicide in the world every day. It has come to the place where suicides now outnumber murders. So in the last year of the national rate of criminal homicide per million populations increased 36%. The rate of forcible rape, 65%. of aggravated assault, 67%, robbery, 119%. Now, these are all American statistics, but we have them also here in the UK. Violent crime in the United States is primarily a phenomenon of large cities. We know that. This is of importance. Excuse me. Violent crime in the cities is concentrated primarily among youth between the ages of 15 and 24, and this is true in most part of the world today. This wholesale lack of respect for the precious gift of life is another parallel to the days of Noah, Matthew 24:37, Genesis 6:5. But as the days of Noah were, so also will be the coming of the Son of Man be. Every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Surely we can expect that the author of life will again step into the program and take charge of the final act as he did back then in Noah's day. Materialism, secularism, and revelry. Materialism, secularism, and revelry are the last major features composing the profile of the last days that we note in Luke 17:26-30, as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be also in the days of the Son of Man. They ate, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise, as it was also in the days of Lot. They ate, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built, but on the day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Even so it will be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. Even so it will be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. Remember the story? What a lesson for us today. Jesus warned us about the same danger. The catalogue of activities listed here seems quite normal behavior. A man must eat, yes, and we must not live, we cannot live very long without drinking. Marriage was ordained by God, and the Word of God says it is honorable. Moreover, buying, selling, planting, building are honorable activities if they are conducted honorably. But we must remember that it was not the things they did that led to the disintegration of character and society so much as the things they neglected to do. Their time was fully occupied with the business and the pleasures of life to the exclusion of the things of the Spirit. They failed because they did not make room in their daily program for God. And this lack of spiritual power led the human race in Noah's day to be corrupted through the indulgence of perverted appetites and passions. Feasting, revelry, drunkenness were the order of the day. Men treated their bodies not as precious possession given them by God, but as things to be exploited for pleasure and feeling. Need we draw the parallel with our society today? Jesus said, Matthew 24:37, but as the days of Noah were, so also will be the coming of the Son of Man be. The hardening materialism of our modern society is not only basic to the problems by which we are plagued, it is the surest evidence that we are down in the time when the Son of Man is about to be revealed. A warning message. A warning message. Let's take heed. Genesis 6:3. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Now this is characteristic of the attitude of God in every time of crisis through which mankind has passed. God set definite limits to the rising tide of violence, lawlessness, and wickedness. Job 38:11, this far you may come, but no farther, and here your proud waves must stop, was the divine decree that shored up the waters of the natural sea. 120 years was the limit set for the rising tide of sin in Noah's generation. We do not know the exact number of years, but we may be assured that also in our day, there is a limit beyond which the patient love of God can no longer wait for men to turn to him. But during this 120-year period before the flood, God sent through his servant Noah a preacher of righteousness, a message of warning and preparation. An ark was built to provide safety